This is a story called The Little Monsters, Part 9. The Kids Have a Sleepover. It's almost Kika's 9th birthday, and all the gang have been invited to her party and a sleepover at her house afterwards. The kids don't know what to buy her as a present because they only have £2 between them. They didn't know what to do, so they all went back to Creeper's house as all their mums were there having a coffee. They all asked them what they could do, and they suggested they do extra chores and run errands to earn more money. The kids agreed to this, and over the next 3 days they all earned £15 each. Creeper bought Kika a Barbie doll because she loves Barbies. Stumpy bought her a bead making set because she loves to make bracelets and necklaces for people. Stampy bought her an art set so she could do her artwork that she loved to do. Bumpy bought her a pack of 3 Barbie outfits, and Grumpy bought her an helmet with matching knee and elbow pads so that when she was on her bike, roller skates or skateboard, the money they had left over they put it together, and they had more than enough to buy Kika the dress and shoes she couldn't keep her eyes off a few days earlier. They wrapped the dress and shoes and wrote on the label, "To Kika, happy birthday, lots of love from all the gang." They still had some money left over, so they bought her a really nice birthday card from all of them. They still had some money left over, so they bought a cake mix. They followed the instructions on the box of cake mix, but they wanted it to be special. So they put their own ingredients in. They added salt, vinegar, pepper, a bottle of wine that they thought was lemonade, onions and beetroot. They also put prizes in the cake, such as bits of broken old toys, old shoes and bits of old clothes. Then they put it in the oven to cook. After about 20 minutes, the kids suddenly heard a really loud bang coming from Creeper's kitchen. When they went to investigate, the cake had risen far too big for the oven, causing the oven door to open and the cake to explode all over the kitchen. Just at that moment, Creeper's mum walked in. "What on earth has been going on here?" Creeper started to cry. "Wah, wah, wah." "Never mind crying, young lady. Answer me now, please." Creeper said, "We. "Well, spit it out, child," said Creeper's mum. "We were making a cake for Kika, but it went wrong," said Creeper. "Just exactly what did you put in this cake?" asked Creeper's mum. "We put salt, vinegar, pepper, onions, beetroot, a bottle of wine, old clothes, old shoes and old toys in," said Creeper crying. "Wah, wah, wah." "You did what?" asked Creeper's mum. Creeper cried even more. "Wah, wah, wah." "Stop that crying, young lady, and all of you get this mess cleaned up at once," said Creeper's mum. The kids did as they were told. Creeper asked her mum if they could play outside, so she said they could, now that they'd cleaned up their mess. As soon as they'd gone, Creeper's mum phoned the other mums and told them what the kids had done, and they all laughed hysterically. The next day it was Kika's birthday, and the kids went to her house to give her the shoes, dress and card they'd all bought together. She was chuffed to bits with the shoes and the dress, and she wore them for her party later on that day. Everyone arrived on time for Kika's party, and she received cards and presents from everyone who came, and she loved everything they gave her. Her parents bought her a new trampoline, a real-life baby doll, and a new bike because her old bike was too small and it was broken. They also bought her lots of clothes and a new backpack she wanted for school. Her grandparents and great-grandparents and her aunties and uncles all gave her £100 from each of them. That day after the party, everyone except the Little Monsters gang went home. Kika got changed because she wanted to try out her new bike and her new skateboard. While she was getting changed, the others ran home, got changed and grabbed their bikes and skateboards. Then they all went back to Kika's house for the sleepover. They played on their bikes for a bit, then they got their skateboards and went to the new skate park. They stayed there for a couple of hours and then they went back to Kika's house. That night the kids were sleeping outside in the tent, which was big enough for 10 adults. As it was Saturday the next day, the kids were allowed to stay up as long as they wanted, as long as they didn't leave the back garden except to go inside to the toilet, and as long as they didn't make too much noise. As it was Kika's birthday, the kids stayed at her house all weekend, including Sunday, as it was the school holidays. That first night the kids waited for all the lights in the house to go out, and then they all sneaked out and went to the skate park. As there was only them there, they had an absolute ball. Then they went to the swing where they played for a while, and then they got tired and went back to Kika's house and went to sleep in the tent. The following day, Kika's parents asked them if they wanted to go bowling and ice skating, and of course they all did, and they all had a brilliant time. Afterwards everyone had something to eat at McDonald's, and then they all went back to Kika's house. The kids played on the trampoline for a bit, and then they were told that it was time to go in the tent. They didn't have to go to sleep though. That night, as soon as all the lights went out, the kids played on the trampoline. Unfortunately, Kika's parents heard them and came out and told them to get back in the tent. The kids did as they were told, but as soon as they went back inside and all the lights went out, they sneaked out to the skate park again. They stayed there until 1 a.m. When they got back to Kika's house, they all went straight to sleep in the tent. The next day, Kika wanted to spend some of her birthday money, and as there was a shopping centre just around the corner with no roads to cross, Kika's parents said they could all go as long as they stayed together. Before they went, Kika's parents told them that they could sleep in the tent for the rest of the week because there was no school, and Kika's parents had both taken a week off work. The kids were really excited by this. They went to the shopping centre, and when they came back they had some tea, and then they went to the skate park and the swing for a bit. When they went back to Kika's house, they played on the trampoline for a bit until Kika's mum told them it was time to come off and go in the tent. Again, as soon as all the lights went out in Kika's house, the kids sneaked out to the skate park again. They stayed there until 1 a.m. This time when they got back to Kika's house, their parents were waiting for them. Her dad said, "Just where have you kids been until this time?" "We were at the skate park, Dad," said Kika. "You were at the skate park until at this time of night? Go to bed, all of you. I'll talk to you all in the morning." The next morning, Kika's dad spoke to the kids like he said he was going to do. He said to them, "Do you kids know how dangerous it is when you're going out to the skate park at night? Anything could have happened to you. You can have the rest of your sleepover, but you do not leave the back garden at night time." Of course, that night the kids sneaked off again, but this time they put pillows in their sleeping bags and made it look like they were all asleep. When Kika's dad went to check on them, he wasn't any the wiser, or so they thought. When they got back, he was waiting for them, and again he told them to go to bed, and he talked to them the next day. The next day was the last day of the sleepover, and that night Kika's parents made them sleep in the house. It was a good job they did, because that night there was a torrential rain and a severe thunderstorm. Kika was grounded for 2 weeks, and when the other kids went home, their parents knew all about what they'd been up to, and they too were grounded for 2 weeks. However, the kids still hadn't learnt their lesson, because even though they were grounded, they all sneaked out of their houses and went to the skate park. This time the police were coming past and they saw the kids playing. They took them home, and when they'd gone, the kids were all smacked hard on their bums and sent to bed. After that night they never sneaked out again. Well, almost never. End of part 9. Thank you, I hope you like it.